through doing the bidding of the gods. Come down here and face me now, Zeus.
This is ugly. Howdy y'all, HOWDY3X here. Today I am platinuming God of War 2 and continuing my journey of platinuming all of the God of War games, and this will be part of my God of War Platinum playlist. Now for this one, there are 35 trophies in total, mainly story-based trophies of course, but there are a few collectible trophies and there are some miscellaneous trophies. And this was a great story, so I loved this video. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Once we load up the game, we see Kratos in his newfound throne as the new God of War, after having previously slain Ares in the last God of War game. Now, since he's had to slay Ares to get these powers, he's not necessarily the most popular kill on the block, so he is kind of shunned by the other gods and is basically alone. But he really doesn't care. He just takes his powers, uses his Spartans to take over cities and towns, and he just does his own thing. So he's making his way down to the city of Rhodes, and Athena tries to stop him while up on Mount Olympus, but he's like, "Get out of my way, woman." So he goes down and decides to lay siege. Now, of course, Athena tries to stop him with the Colossus of Rhodes, but our boy Zeus comes in clutch. He's like, "Hey, use this Blade of Olympus to take on this Colossus of Rhodes." And we're like, "Okay, buddy, yeah." So we throw all our powers into the blade, and we throw that blade into the Colossus of Rhodes, and we make light work of it. And then we make our way up back home and hang out with our boy Zeus. Psych! Nah, Zeus decides to stab us in the back, or more so, the front, because he's tired of us and he says it's for the good of Olympus, and yeah, decides to yeet us to Hades. And as we're dying and making our way down, the Titan Gaia reveals herself and tells Kratos that he can't be given up so easily. He needs to fight back. He needs to kill Zeus. And so Kratos is like, "Yeah, I got that dog in me!" So we escape the hands of Hades and we even get a trophy. Resurrection, baby. Let's go. Now, once we're back up, the Titan Gaia reveals to Kratos he must go back in time with the Sisters of Fate, who control the fate of every living being, and he's gonna need their help to go back in time to kill Zeus. Now, before this, a Spartan soldier decides to talk to us. We tell him to guard Sparta, make sure everybody's safe as we go onto our journey to kill Zeus. Now, to start this journey, the Titan Gaia tells Kratos that he must go to her brother Typhon. And on the way there, we even get another trophy for killing the Dark Rider for the first time. Ooh, Death from Above 2009. Okay. Once we get there though, our poor Pegasus gets trapped underneath Typhon's hand, and so we need some power before we can help him. We're kind of powerless right now. So on the way to get some power, we meet Prometheus, and Prometheus is cursed to be tortured every day, while at the same time he cannot die. And this is all because he brought the fire of Olympus down to us mere mortals. And since we're such a nice guy, we decide to help him end this curse by killing him and throwing him in the fire of Olympus itself. But like I said, we still ain't got no power. So to get this power, we get on the same level as Typhon's head, and we decide to take his bane from his freaking eye. And we finally get some power, and we get another trophy. Breaking wind. Let's go. Now, after getting this power, we're able to help unalive Prometheus, and in the process, we get another power, the Rage of the Titans, and I get another trophy. Big, tough, buff, and rough, baby. Now, after we release the Pegasus, we make our way to the island of creation, Lachesis, to meet the Sisters of Fate. And on the way there, we ask Gaia, like, "Why are you helping us, bro?" And she says it's because she was the one who took care of Zeus when he was a baby, and was one who aided Zeus from being eaten by the Titan Kronos himself. Yes, that same Titan we saw in the first game, who is now carrying Pandora's temple on his back. Now, as Zeus grew older, Gaia kind of urged him to unalive Kronos. And of course, because of Kronos's misdeeds against Zeus's brothers and sisters, Zeus decides to not only kill Kronos, but also all of the Titans, even including Gaia. Talk about messed up. So we continue our journey after learning more about that. And as we're making our journey, we learn that Theseus is guarding the Sisters of Fate. And he is still a supporter of Zeus, so he does not let us progress. So we decide to take matters into our own hands, and we beat him up. And in the process of killing Theseus, we get another trophy. This one is for boss batch number 1. This batch is for the Colossus of Rhodes, the Dark Rider, and Theseus himself. Boss batch number 1, baby. Let's go. Then we even get another trophy like shortly after, and this is for getting power from Kronos himself, that power being Kronos' rage. Trophy? Oh, blue balls. It almost gave me blue balls, dang. Now, to get further into the story, we have to take essentially this mechanical steed that Kronos had created as a trophy for the Sisters of Fate to change his own fate, but they did not accept this gift, of course. But I will gladly accept this trophy for whipping the steeds. Whip it real good. Whip it good. Now, as we're progressing, the statue of Lachesis decides to tell us, we cannot change our fate. So we chop its head off and we make our way to the Bog of the Forgotten. And while there, an old foe decides to drag us around like we're some rag doll. This foe being the barbarian king who Ares killed for us in the first game. Now, he has the power to bring about souls, and these souls are trying to help him kill us. And what's really funny is we have an old friend stop by, the captain of the ship from the first game.
No, not you again!
And of course, we make light work of this old foe and move on. Now, we're kind of stuck, so we have to topple this building into the swamp to be able to get across, and we get a trophy from it. Lift with your knees. Let's go. Nice. As we make our way across this swamp, we see a Spartan soldier is there for some reason, and he relays to us that another Spartan soldier has the golden fleece. Now, we need this golden fleece because we need more power, and the power of Uriel is inside their temple, which has a fire defense system that we cannot get past right now. So we get to this other Spartan soldier who relays that they lost the golden fleece to this Cerberus, and so we decide to throw the Spartan soldier into some gears. Yeah. And we fight the Cerberus to gain the golden fleece, and I gain a trophy. Shiner. Let's go. Now, we use the fleece to get into the Temple of Uriel, and after we smash the doors, we get another trophy. Shine, King. Let's go. Now, as we're making our way to the temple, we kill Uriel themselves, who gives us the power to turn enemies into stone. And we get a trophy for this power. Rock their world, baby! Now, after some further progression, we meet Perseus, and Perseus is mad at us because on our journey we destroyed his only means of escape, and he is trying to find the Sisters of Fate himself. So he decides he wants to kill us because he believes that this is a test of the fates, but even if it's not, he's just mad at us in general. So he decides to fight us, and you know, you mess around, you find out, and he found out we have that dog in us. So we yeet him into a spike, and we take his shield and the Spear of Destiny, and I take a trophy. This is for boss batch number 2, this batch being the old barbarian king, Uriel, and Perseus himself. The shield of Perseus. Boss batch number 2, baby. Let's go. Shortly after this encounter, we must cross this collapsing bridge where we must use our grappling skills to the test. And then we get another trophy. Nice. Ooh, swinger. Okay, I didn't realize that was a trophy. Nice. I will take it. I will take it. Now, after this, we make way and we are stopped by this chasm. Now, at this chasm, there's a large gap and we just don't have the means to make it there. But at this edge, we meet Icarus. Now, Icarus has wings, and he relays to us that he should be the only one who can meet the Sisters of Fate because he has the means to get there with his wings. So of course, he lunges at us, and we decide to just take his freaking wings, and underneath this chasm, we actually land in front of the Titan Atlas. And once we land, we get a trophy for stealing Icarus's wings. Icarus wings.
The Sisters' Temple is far above, Kratos. You must get back to the surface.
Learning to fly. Let's go. I've been saying let's go a lot. I realize that now. Now, since we're underneath this large chasm, we need to make our way back up. And in the process of this, we meet a Titan Minotaur who decides to throw hands with us. So we make light work of it and we get a trophy, baby. Rock hard. Me every morning. And as we're making our way up, Atlas decides to question us on what we're doing. We tell him we will use the blade of Olympus to kill Zeus. Now, after we tell him this, he gives us more backstory about why the blade of Olympus is so important. And we learn that this blade was the very same blade that Zeus decided to use to kill all of the Titans during the Great War between the gods and the Titans. So because of this, Atlas decides to give us passage across the Great Chasm, as well as some of his own magic. Shaky ground, baby. Now, after we cross this great chasm, we are finally at the Palace of the Fates. Now, before we can make entrance, we have to fight enemies who are trying to protect these fates. And so, after making light work of these enemies, we get another trophy, baby. Picking on the little guy. Let's go. And while inside the palace, we have to sacrifice translators to be able to progress further and use their blood as a key to unlocking rooms. Now, after we sacrifice the first one of the Sisters of Fate decides to tell us that this is just the beginning of getting an audience with them. And one such test that we have to complete is the Riddle of the Phoenix. Now, for this one, this is a room where a statue of the Phoenix allows us to melt a bunch of ice. So after completing this riddle, we get a trophy. What you got on the hot plate, baby? Now, there's a second translator who we have to sacrifice, but he tries to run away from us. But we are able to use the power of these statues that allow us to slow down time just for a little bit to be able to save him because we're such nice guys. And then we sacrifice him because we need to move on. Spread them. Hey, yo. But after this, we are relayed that we have to help the Phoenix rise again. Now, to do this, we have to throw the ashes into the fire, and once the Phoenix is awake, he's still on fire, so we have to blow into this horn to put out said fire and relieve the Phoenix of his pain. And then we get a trophy. Rise and shine, baby. Now, on our way to the Phoenix to be able to make it across another chasm, we are stopped by some mystery man. And this mystery man we cannot see, but he thinks he can throw down with us. So we take some blows, we give some blows, and we yeet the blade into him. And we realize this mystery man was that Spartan who talked to us when we escaped the clutches of Hades. Now, why is he here, you may ask? We are relayed that Zeus has laid siege on Sparta and his Spartan brothers and sisters. And this Spartan soldier took it upon himself to seek out the Sisters of Fate and change the fate of Sparta. And while this soldier is dying in our arms, we call out to Zeus, telling him to fight us like a man. And this Kraken from out of nowhere grips us up and is squeezing us. And while this Kraken is squeezing us, Kratos is trying to figure out why he's even going on. But a vision of his wife appears, and she urges him to keep fighting. She urges him to keep going. She urges him not to give up. And so he becomes enraged and more enraged. And we fight the Kraken, baby. So after defeating this Kraken, making light work of him, we take Steed on the Phoenix and we finally get into the Temple of the Fates. And while inside the temple, we finally meet the Sisters of Fate face to face. The first sister, of course, decrees that it's impossible to change Kratos' fate, as it is set in stone. So after we give her the work, the second sister tries to scare us some more and takes us back in time herself to the battle between Kratos and Ares. And she says, you know the sword you used to kill Ares? We can just poof it out of existence. But of course, we poof her out of her life and we make our way down to the chamber where all the threads are threaded by the third sister. Now this third sister, of course, she tries to stop us, but we make light work of her too, just like everybody else. And we're now able to control time itself, and we get a trophy, this one for being boss batch number 3, and that is for defeating the Kraken and the 3 Sisters of Fate. Boss batch number 3, baby. Now we control time. We decide to go back to that fateful experience where Zeus decides to yeet the Blade of Olympus into us. But future us is there. Now we got power of the Titans. Now we can control time. And now we can fight Zeus. Now Zeus is thrown off. He's like, why are the Sisters of Fate helping you? We're like, they didn't help us. We killed them. And he's like, well, now I'm gonna kill you. And so we fight Zeus. We throw blows. He throws blows back at us. We're able to get the upper hand. We're about to yeet the sword into Zeus himself. And then out of nowhere, Athena steps in.
You cannot do this, Kratos!
You dare stand against me, Athena?
I do not wish to fight you, Kratos.
Daddy
but I will
issues.
defend Olympus.
Know this, my son. You have started a war you cannot possibly win.
And then dies in the crossfire. Then, as she's fading away, she tells us that Zeus is Olympus and that we can't kill Zeus without destroying Olympus. Now, Kratos is of course distraught after killing Athena and not killing Zeus, but he still wants to kill Zeus. And Gaia relates to him, remember Kratos, you're the keeper of time. And so Kratos goes back in time and brings all of the Titans to the present before the game urges that this is the beginning of the end. And we get our final story-based trophy. Ooh, yes, the end begins. Nice. Nice. Now, for the collectibles, there are 3 main collectible trophies. There is one for Gorgon Eyes, just like in the last game. You have acquired a Gorgon Eye. I can't believe it! Believe it! Nice. Hell yeah. One for Phoenix Feathers, just like in the last game as well. Go make a pillow. Nice. Hell yeah. And then there is another for something called Uber Chests. These chests allow you to upgrade your health, upgrade your magic, and give you a bunch of red orbs that can be used to upgrade your weapons and your magic. You know the Germans make good stuff. Heck yeah, baby. Now, when it comes to miscellaneous trophies, there aren't that many. There's one for getting a 500 hit combo. I did this in the very beginning because you still have your powers of the gods. And so I just used Poseidon's Rage and just spam that. And then you get a trophy for 500 hits.
I am the god of
Supersized. Let's go. Now, another hit-based one is Stoner. This one I got after starting a new game plus mode with unlimited magic with the power of HOWDY Y'ALL, and I just stoned a bunch of people and decided to chop them up. But you get a trophy for defeating 30 stoned enemies. Stoner. Now there's one for hitting your shrine. This one is just powering up any item at least once. Hitting your shrine, baby, let's go. And then of course, another one, including power-ups, is maxing out all of your weapons and all of your magic. Blowing your wad, baby. Now, there is one during the story that is missable, but it's really hard to miss in my opinion. This one is called 15-minute fight scene. This is when you're making your way to the third sister of fate in the loom chamber. And in this chamber, you just have to kill all the enemies in under 15 minutes. It's not that hard to do, especially since by then you have all the power and stuff. And you should be able to, if you're following the collectibles guide, should be able to max out all your powers and magic or be close to it. So it's not too hard, but yes, you get the 15-minute fight scene trophy. 15-minute cutscene. Too easy, too easy. Now another one, these you have to collect, but you also get 2 for finishing the Challenge of the Titans, which I'll get into later. But there are urns, and these urns allow you to change essentially the story. These urns give you either unlimited orbs, unlimited magic, unlimited health, unlimited armor, you name it. But to get this trophy, it's called Feel the Urn. You have to collect and use at least 2 urns, and you can only do this after you beat the game, and you can use it in the new Game Plus mode. So I just did that and got the Feel the Urn trophy. Feel the Urn. Now another one, this is called Eyesore. You have to collect 20 Cyclops eyes. Easiest way to do this in my opinion was in the first mission of Challenge of the Titans, and you can just keep redoing this first challenge. Now the only caveat is you have to make sure you save each time, otherwise it will not save. After you get that 20th eye, you will get the Eyesore trophy. Yeah. Eyesore. Nice. I'll take it. Let's go. And speaking of the Challenge of the Titans, this one is just like the Challenge of the Gods from the first game. However, so long as you save, you don't have to do it all in one sitting. And there are only 7 challenges this time. Now the first challenge is of course to rip out the Cyclops eye before the time runs out. That's why I recommend doing the Cyclops trophy for this one. But this one's pretty easy. Once you have circle, you can do the quick time event. It's pretty easy. Second one, Death from Above, is killing at least 10 enemies in the air before time runs out. Took me a couple tries, but not too hard. Third challenge is kind of annoying. The stone shatter at least 25 enemies before time runs out. And there's only one Gorgon who is able to turn other enemies to stone, but you have to use the golden fleece to reflect the Gorgon's stare. After a few tries, I was able to get 25 enemies stoned and killed before time ran out. Now, if you have time running over, just make sure you keep rolling around or kill the Gorgon, because if you get stoned yourself and die, even with 25 enemies killed, like stoned and killed, you will fail. So I recommend just rolling around if you have extra time. Challenge 4 is the worst challenge of any of the freaking challenges I've done, whether it be the Challenge of the Gods or Challenge of the Titans. I hated this one. This one, you have to protect the translator from being killed by an onslaught of enemies, and these enemies just won't stop coming and coming. because there are just so many enemies and they all decide to target the translator at different times, and the translator is just so weak. And then to add on to this, you have to keep the translator in this circle. If he's not in the circle that changes location every so often, he will slowly lose health, and it was so annoying. This one, I just wanted to yeet the translator myself. After forever, I was finally able to finish this challenge. Challenge 5 is pretty easy. You just have to back up a bunch of big combos. You have to get at least 500 ores before time runs out. This one's pretty easy. I think I did it first try, so not bad at all. And challenge 6 is supposed to be kind of hard, but honestly it wasn't that hard in my opinion. This one is called Survival of the Fittest. Essentially the gods have cursed you and you are slowly running out of health, but you have to kill all the enemies before your health runs out. So one thing I recommend is when minotaurs come up and you bring down their health enough to be able to prompt a quick time event by hitting circle, you should be able to get more health from the minotaurs. But even then, this trophy's not too hard so long as you know your combos and you just make sure to block and all that. Now for the final challenge, this one took me a while, I'm not gonna lie, but you have to kill all your enemies without being hit. There's a Titan Minotaur that makes this pretty hard because the Titan Minotaur can just yeet you during your combos or anything. But if you're able to, you can get behind the Titan Minotaur and use your powers and prompt a quick time event. But before prompting this quick time event, the Titan Minotaur, if you time it right, can and should be able to kill some of your enemies for you. And after completing this challenge, I finally got bleeding thumbs. And then we got the freaking platinum, y'all. Let's go. Come on. Yeah. Bleeding thumbs and trophy of Gaia, whatever. Let's freaking go, baby. Oh, this was way more fun than the first one, I'll tell you that. Maybe it's because I got a better grip of what I'm doing, because the first God of War game was my very first video, but this one was a lot of fun, honestly. And just like that, y'all, that is the platinum for God of War 2. Now, with this being one of those games on PlayStation Plus that I have to stream on, I don't know how to see how many hours it took me. I have about 13 hours of footage, so I'm going to say it took me around 12 to 13 hours because I know I took some breaks. But if y'all know how to do that, just let me know in the comments below. But yeah, I loved this story, especially playing it for the first time. Yeah, I know I say in all my videos, but I highly recommend this one. But thank y'all for watching. If y'all enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe. And I hope y'all have a great day. Peace.